The Chapel of Carmarans, one of the 7 hermitages of the diocese of the parish of St Michael, repaired in 1297. Carmarans or Carmarans is a dependent of the parish of Neyrac. The chapel was a ruin before 1730. The chapel is an oratorium of the arcade type, close to the road and 4 kilometres from Estang. The chapel was given to the commune of the Neyrac by Louis Gaultier, a notaire in Estang during the 50s. The name of Carmarans could originate from the Latin cadaver marans, literally the mourning corpse, giving credence to the following legend. The legend of Aveyron. Le Poix Trinquois and Le Capello de Duel. After a short distance on leaving Estang and travelling towards Entrailles, on the same riverside, you will find the remains of an old wall built on schist rock. These barely visible remains correspond with those which are visible on the opposite of the river and which are similar. One may recognise these remains in the country under the patois name of Le Poix Trinquois, which translates into the broken bridge. This remaining rock suggests that the bridge had one very high arch for the water to run under. There were smaller arches each side for floodwater to run under when the river was high, but there was no longer any trace of these. On the left bank, in the cracks of the rock where water has deposited soil, there grows a small periwinkle, the flower symbolising the memory of this story.
Espoir mêlé de crainte, ton père a vu toutes tes larmes, bras paternels qui enlacent, qui ont nourri ces fragiles pétales, beauté virginale en fleurs dans la prime jeunesse, fruit qu'il a protégé en ses paumes et amené à mûrir, petit fond de printemps courant et dansant, s'ébattant dans votre bonheur de vivre, enfant innocente des chants gaéliques baignés de soleil, lumière d'été si dorée, jour paresseux baigné dans la joie insouciante des rêves de noces. Il a pris ton sommeil et y a placé ses rêves. Les forces de la nature mêlaient vos âmes, vos destins devaient être unis. Maintenant, il craint mais espère, vigoureux enfant de France pressé d'aimer. Forces anciennes, patrie ancienne labourée par ses mains du passé, graines du temps lancées à la volée. C'est alors que l'ombre noire de la mort s'est immiscée et le noir a remplacé la lumière. La flamme qui brillait sur tout s'est éteinte. Le feu des passions assouvi, maintenant, froid comme la nuit. Son âme appelait en vain ses rêves vides, trouvait chaque jour plus long. Comme en transe, son esprit emplit des seuls tendres remords de ses souvenirs. Son joli corps gracieux à petits pas a dit adieu à l'hiver gris. Son esprit à peine éclairé, elle a plongé son regard au fond des eaux du passé. Il lui a fait signe d'approcher, de le rejoindre, lui sombre et froid, dans une ultime étreinte. Son chant si doux, si calme, si clair, a résonné dans le lointain de sa chute, maintenant retransmis par les mémoires passées. Un rossignol répète son appel.
When I first arrived in France 5 years ago, I found this beautiful ancient chapel just up the road from me. I knew there and then that I was destined to work within this chapel. Then I met Madame Francine Samper, who was working on the gardens. She's a wonderful character, and it was clear that we both had the same empathy towards the chapel. With her assistance, I gained permission from the Mairie of the Neyrac, who owned the chapel, to begin work. Having planned out and cleaned parts of the walls, we first gave a coat of white plaster and then mixed local red ochre with the plaster to give a pink surround, then a coat of acrylic emulsion, and finally finished the paintings with acrylic paints. It was very important to consider the ambience of the chapel and not to make a modern painting, but a mélange, a mixture of the ancient and medieval with my own styles. I hope you enjoy sharing the creation of this project on this film. Here I am in the little chapel at Carmarans, and as you can see, I've now finished the project. Although we would like to have a really beautiful stained glass window made yet, and hopefully I'll find somebody who might care enough to donate that in the future. I'm going to explore these various pictures with you and the walls and show you how the whole project was done. It's certainly been a very interesting project for me, a very lovely one and quite a spiritual one, working here, playing some music in the background as well. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and hope you will enjoy seeing how this was created. By continuing your walk down the valley or gorge, you pass through slopes covered with vines and chestnut groves until you arrive at the village of Carmarans. Just after the village and continuing to Untry, you will come to a small chapel. This is its history. The Lord of Astang was very friendly with the Lord of Vallon, who lived in the valley of the river Trye nearby. The Lord of Vallon was widowed and had a young son. Having to go to war, this lord entrusted his son and servant to his friend, the Lord of Astang. The Lord of Astang had a daughter a little younger. The two children played and grew together until they became adolescent and felt a deep attraction to one another. However, the Lord of Astang had plans to marry his daughter to a powerful lord of the vicinity, the Baron de Thenier, a hard and violent man. The girl, happy in the company of the Lord de Vallon, had wished to the contrary, and no wishes to marry the Baron de Thenier. The Baron de Thenier understood that the girl he desired was already in love with the young boy. He requested that the Lord of Astang send the boy back to his home in Vallon. The youngsters made a tryst to always remain faithful and be together again. On the arranged day and hour, a light was to be placed at the top of a large tower. This would indicate there was no danger from any untoward plans the Baron may have. An indiscreet and corrupt maidservant of the girl was to inform the Baron de Thenier in this way. Knowing the day and the hour to which the young page was to come, the Lord of Thenier paid 6 good-for-nothings who in the darkness of night cut down the arch of the bridge which connected Astang to the left bank. At the appointed time the young man arrived at Le Rouquette on the left bank, not far from the Stang. In the night he did not see the abyss, and fell through the missing portion of the bridge and was drowned. His servant, not seeing him return, went the following day and searched. He saw the damage to the bridge and understood the possibility that the boy had fallen in, and alerted the Lord of Astang and all the population. They searched along the river for the body of the young man. They found it opposite Montaigu, where the small boat, which they call in the region a neo-fuel, they succeeded in bringing back the body. During this time an investigation did not have any doubt that the author of the crime was the Baron de Thenier. At the request of the girl, the Lord of Astang buried the young man at the place the corpse had been found along the lot, and built a tomb at that point, and made a chapel, and beside this chapel a lodge to house a hermit, whose mission would be to pray for the defunct and the two families of Astang and of Vallon. The chapel was then named Le Capello de Duil, the Vault of Mourning. The young girl, in her unhappiness, did not delay long in following her companion to the tomb. On the anniversary of the death of the two lovers, the fishermen of Astang say they have seen a light rise in cloud above the large tower of the castle, and little by little take the shape of a woman in a long white clothing, joining hands with the sky. They say they have distinctly heard her call 3 times, Duil, 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 and then all disappears. When many times asked on the date of this apparition, the fishermen stated invariably, "It is with the rise of the white fish, occurring when the corn flowers." The 2 paintings I've done each side I've tried to represent, in fact, these 2 teenagers that were in love, the girl and the boy, although in fact I have no reference to work to for the portraits. So it's a little bit of a romantic theme, and it's also rather a romantic reaction from me, including a rather romantic tale. It's sad but romantic. In this larger painting here, you'll see I've actually made a painting of the whole of this area of the Gorge du Lot. Here we have the little village of Carmarans, opposite where I live. Here we have the little chapel